Hey everybody, welcome once again to the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined as always by Raj Giri. Tonight we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw for February 20th, 2017. Mr. Matt Morgan can't make it tonight. He will be back with us next Monday on the podcast. And tonight, monumental Raw, the fallout from the Kevin and Chris breakup that we saw last week, seeing some interesting action on the Bayley Charlotte front. We had an interview with Brock Lesnar. Whole lot of stuff happened tonight. Felt like a pretty eventful Raw, not a lot of filler. Some major story beats in the build-up to Fastlane. Raj, I know we're coming off an amazing show last week, but what were your thoughts about tonight's Monday Night Raw?
I thought it was really good. I was shocked. Like that Braun Strowman match was way better than I would have ever expected. So, yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought Braun looked awesome. They did a great job just getting him over. I mean, they've done such a good job with him that yeah, I mean, he feels like a real top, like he's getting to that top guy level on Raw. So it's great stuff. It's a good show.
Amazing, because a year ago he was a Wyatt. They wouldn't even let him show his face. Like, you wear the mask. That's what we think of you.
Yeah, but it was probably all for the best because he was super green last year.
Yeah. No, he's definitely making the most for what he has, and I think that match with the Big Show definitely further established Braun Strowman's credibility. So that being said, let's go and run down what happened tonight. Seemed like the crowd was pretty pumped. Now, part of the reason for this is that The Rock was in attendance, correct? Wrestling Inc. had the story that they're filming part of the Paige biopic movie. They're filming a match tonight after Raw, so The Rock came out, warmed up the crowd, and I guess Vince McMahon walked him off.
Yeah, he did a little comedy. Yeah, they're moving fast on this movie. It was like announced like 2 weeks ago, and they've already, got the cast and they're filming. I'm waiting for them to say like, it came out 2 weeks ago, just with how fast they're moving. But yeah, the Rock was there. They didn't use him on camera. But yeah, the Paige movie's coming along.
Which speaks to something, I think, with all the storylines they have going on right now, and perhaps the confidence that WWE creative has in what they're doing. Because I think in a lesser time, they absolutely would have been like, hey, man, can you just come out and do a little thing on TV? Give us a little boost, give us a little bump here.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do anything, like even just something backstage. But, maybe that might have been his request. But he did do stuff for the live crowd before, so I don't know. I think I'm surprised they didn't do anything.
So we started with a great recap of the show showing the entire Chris and Kevin breakup that happened on last week's Monday Night Raw. And man, I don't know about you, but for me, just sort of resetting that really set the bar high. And if I were to nitpick, and a lot of people accuse me of nitpicking in these recaps, but if I were to say one thing, I thought Kevin Owens came out after that recap, both him and Chris's friendship of the breakup with Kevin turning on Chris last week on Raw during the Festival of Friendship. They set the bar so high with that I don't know about you, but I thought Owens did a great career defining promo, one of the best he's ever done, shifting the focus to Goldberg. But at the same time, I was a little bummed that we didn't see Jericho and we didn't see that situation directly addressed from Kevin's perspective.
Yeah, I think it's too soon to do it. Because you do got Goldberg coming up first. So, save that promo for after Fastlane. So I thought it was good the way they did it. And, Jericho, he shouldn't have been on TV tonight. He really should be selling that beating. So I like the way that it played out. It keeps you kind of hooked.
Yeah, he hasn't been doing the live events. And is it correct that he's been off social media as well for the past week?
No, he's been posting some stuff.
Gotcha. No, I think it's a good idea to keep it building, but at the same time, I mean, I just want to see what happens next with that. I think, man, if ever there was a way to set up a feud, that was it last week.
And I feel like Kevin Owens just came across as a bigger star tonight. I feel like that angle really worked. I think now him not having Jericho helps him because it makes him seem more serious and more of a real threat. So.
And at the beginning, genuine heat from the crowd. I don't think we've heard this in a long time. He's been more sort of an anti-hero, but now Kevin Owens is a legitimate heel.
Right. Yeah. He's no longer entertaining, with his jokes and stuff like that, and being Jericho's, the straight man. So yeah, it's a turn for the better. It's just unfortunate he's likely to lose the championship in 2 weeks.
Yeah, which is, I mean, issues with that, with part-timers coming in, but hey, it's WrestleMania season, so these things do happen. So we went from that promo in setting things up for Goldberg versus Kevin Owens at Fastlane into a number one contenders match for Cesaro and Sheamus versus Enzo and Cass. A lot of people on Twitter were saying they felt like this was the start of an Enzo Cass, a bit of a heel turn in this match. Do you agree?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
It was almost someone's asking if I have a cold. Yes, I do have a cold. I've been fighting it off. But this was almost like a handicap match. Like, Big Cass did most of the work. Enzo didn't do too much. I mean, they make him look kind of like a joke when, he's cutting his little promo and they just gets bro kicked in the face. And the fans are chanting, "Thank you, Sheamus." So it shows how far they've kind of fallen, how far Enzo has fallen since last summer.
Yeah, it did seem a little different. I mean, they clearly had a good portion of the crowd on their side. I loved Enzo involving that sign in the audience. I thought that was really nicely done at the start of the match. But look, man, I mean, I said this on Twitter, and they've had the same formula now. I mean, since forever ago in NXT. Enzo gets the crap kicked out of him. They do the hot tag. Cass comes in and cleans it up. It's all about what they do before the match and after the match.
That's but with this, he gets punked after the match, and
that was shocking.
Yeah, made to look kind of like a joke. So,
hey man, who's going to do those KFC ads if they diminish their credibility?
Yeah.
What else do we have? But that being said, Enzo and Cass, number one contenders for the belt. They're going to go for it at Fastlane. Do you think they get it off Gallows and Anderson?
I don't think so. I don't think they make that switch yet.
I could see them doing it, if only for the reason that having them go in as the tag team champs at WrestleMania would make it an even bigger moment. Whereas Gallows and Anderson being the champs at WrestleMania will get a reaction, but not nearly the one Enzo and Cass would.
It'll get a reaction, but it's clear they have no faith in Enzo.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll go with them as champs just for that reason.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, definitely, I think we'll have a sense in the coming weeks where things are going. But yeah, I mean, it was largely a match where Enzo just took the beating. Cass did the work. Yeah. They are the number one contenders now. So with that, we saw Owens backstage setting up with Mick Foley, informing him that he's going to be fighting Sami Zayn, signing what to come with Owens making the threat about Sami being on the injured list. And after that, Raj, I tweeted at you. I don't know if you were paying attention, but man, wasn't that worth all that changing of the ropes and all that buildup to have that abrupt match between Akira Tozawa and Brian Kendrick?
Yeah.
It lasted all of 60 seconds?
Those long spaces between matches for getting the cruiserweight stuff set up is just kind of a buzzkill, like you just get, by the time another match is on, it's been like 15 minutes. So, again, it's a broken record, but I wish they'd get rid of those.
Well, we'll talk about it, later when we get to the Jack Gallagher segment with Neville. But that was a great example where, I mean, the crowd that was there and stayed for it was really into it, but you could tell a lot of people were bathroom breaking because of that whole rigmarole of changing the ropes and setting up for it.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because I thought that was a fantastic segment and was great to build interest in the cruiserweights. I just think that the audience being there and into it would have made it worth so much more. So after that, this was weird. I know last week we talked about all of the problems with doing a handicap match of Roman Reigns versus Gallows and Anderson. I understand in this is literally a case of we have two entities that we have nothing else going on this week for them to do in the ring. But I don't know. Last week I thought it worked as a one-off. Tonight, and with the DQ and everything, I mean, I don't know. The match was okay, but why? What's the point of this?
Yeah. That it was kind of just they had no other ideas, so they pretty much did the same thing as last week. So yeah. I mean, if you're gonna have Roman just destroy those guys like that, you might as well just have him pin them. So
well. He's destroying them because they're going to make it believable that Enzo and Cass can beat Gallows and Anderson. They're like, well, if one Samoan can do it, then, clearly these two guys can.
No, I think it's a little different with Roman.
Clearly. But yeah, I mean, this is probably the thing that felt most like filler tonight. Because all in all, this was a very solid show, and this was a better match than most filler matches. I mean, we didn't see Titus or Bo Dallas or Curtis Axel this week. So I think, that's saying something if this was perhaps the weakest match tonight on the show. Went from that to the New Day versus Rusev and Jinder Mahal. So what did you think of this? In the setup, I mean, the comedy of it, and then the match itself.
I like Big E's line about Lana and the Russian hacking. I thought that was pretty good. It's silly stuff, you know, with the ice cream and Lana having the plans and just gets scared with the trombone. But it wasn't worse than other stuff they've done. But
it was not the old day.
That's yeah. But I'm just sad to see where Rusev is right now.
Handsome Rusev.
Yeah, I wish it, you know, there's so much they could do with them. They need top heels, and you know, yet there he is with pairing with Jinder Mahal.
Hey, you know, I thought this worked pretty well. I mean, it was a serviceable match. The comedy was good. It was announced today, I'm sure everyone saw on Wrestling Inc., that the New Day will be the hosts of WrestleMania. Did you get any sense of what that will entail with their hosting duties? Are they going to be emceeing or doing segments?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure it'll be just like when Hogan hosted last year, which is you do one opening segment and then a few backstage segments, usually what that entails. So, yeah, it's weird to have active stars just, being a host. I don't know. It's kind of an odd thing.
I think the tags, I mean, the tag teams, I think are going to be what gets short end of the stick at WrestleMania. I think, especially if they're going to try and put a cruiserweight match in there as well. It seems like with the women, we've been hearing about some former talents in the female division coming back for a SmackDown women's match. We know what's going to be the Raw women's match. It looks like we were counting it up before. What I mean, like 10 matches that we know of so far, and that was not taking into account the tag teams.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see about contacting the former women because, you know, automatically like Trish Stratus comes to mind, but she just had her second baby.
Yeah.
You know, Lita's getting up there in years.
No, I think it was like Kelly and
Kelly was backstage at Raw last week. So
yeah. I think it was her and one other one talking about them teaming with Mickie James to take on 3 of the current SmackDown women.
Yeah.
3-on-3 match. Which is a nice idea, a nice way to incorporate them. But the tag teams, I mean, I don't know what they have. I think it probably limited the kickoff show and probably the Raw tag teams. I think SmackDown, unless maybe they do a mixed match between brands.
Yeah, I mean, really, the only spot for the New Day was the Andre the Giant Battle Royal this year, anyway. So this is probably a higher profile gig for him. So, and you know, it'll get the crowd going. You know, they're over as hell. You know, even though I you know, sometimes their comedy drives me nuts now. The crowd loves them. So,
and that's the thing. I mean, the most over part of anything they do at WrestleMania is obviously going to be their entrance. So why not give them the entrance? Put them in a more
I bet the ice cream we'll see it at Mania.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Ice cream trucks, you know.
Yeah, something like that.
Coming out, they'll do something with it. But no, I thought this match was okay tonight. I mean, it was not bad, which is saying something because a lot of the New Day matches and the comedy. I mean, look, I'll watch them go against Rusev and Jinder any day of the week over, you know, some match involving Titus. I actually thought the match with Bo Dallas last week was kind of a pleasant surprise.
You know, New Day, they can go. They're good. They're really good in the ring. I personally think it's time for Big E to get a singles push because I think the New Day is just kind of stagnant. I think you could really do something with Big E. I think he's got a real superstar potential.
Oh, definitely. But I don't know. I think they're pretty happy with New Day as is, it seems. Enjoyed. Now, confirm this. That wasn't fake. Xavier Woods legit tore apart an iPad at the end of that segment.
Yeah.
That alone. That was $600.
Hopefully it was like a Kindle or something.
Yeah. That was crazy. No, I like the segment. Thought it was funny. Thought it worked really well. Was what it was, and it was not bad. And the wrestling was okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Can't go wrong with that.
It was fine.
So after that, we had the tribute to George the Animal Steele, who passed away this past Thursday at the age of 79. I thought
really
this was
done.
Really well done. So much. Do you think they have a lot of this stuff prepared?
What do you mean?
Okay, newspapers. You've heard. I'm sure everyone watching our show has heard newspapers and things like Time Magazine. Time Magazine has obituaries for every notable person over the age of 60, ready to go at a moment's notice, and they just update a few details, and that way, when the person passes away, bam, they've got it out there.
I mean, it's clear. I mean, those interviews that they used, some of those are years and years old.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, they have Kevin Hart there. What are the odds of them asking him about George the Animal Steele? But so yeah, I think they probably just ask a ton of stuff that they archive and can use it whenever.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. In fact, they probably have interns logging every interview they do with stuff like the David Arquette bit, so they can just search a database of when people's names come up, pull the tape, and put it together. But no, I thought that was very, very well done, and just amazing. They were able to have something so extensive ready to go within 4 days. That was a very, very nice tribute.
Yeah, I can see why they didn't want to do two of these on the same show and do a video package for Ivan Koloff too. Although, Ivan Koloff was, ended Bruno Sammartino's title run. He's former WWF champion. So, yeah, they did a little quick screen of Ivan Koloff, but that was about it.
Well, and then in conjunction with that, them announcing officially what we've been talking about for weeks with DDP going into the Hall of Fame, doing the Black History Month segment. Yeah, I think someone in production probably thought, 3 video packages in an evening is already pushing it with the major recaps and matches that they had going on throughout the rest of the show. But yeah, amazing just the amount of talent that's passed away in the last
week. Ivan Koloff was one of the people also involved with the concussion lawsuit.
Oh.
So I don't know if that would be very petty if that was the reason they didn't do a video package for him. I hope it's not. Maybe they just felt like the George the Animal was a bigger name, and that's why they did him.
So,
but yeah, Chavo Sr. also, Nicole Bass. Nicole Bass passed away. So it's it's Jimmy Snuka, like a month ago. So it's been a sad period.
Definitely. And I think, we're seeing it now. Part of our generation getting older, right, is that the previous generations that we grew up watching now, unfortunately, are entering that age group and entering that period. So, it's kind of, I think that's what hits a lot of wrestling fans, realizing that, people I enjoyed watching as kids are now passing away. Right. Time marches forward.
Yeah, I remember, Macho Man and Roddy Piper, like it really was just like, whoa, these guys... And they weren't old, so it just, it's just weird. It's sad.
No, definitely. Well, on a much kinder note, we came out of that with what I thought was what would have stolen the show any other night, but Jack Gallagher and Neville contract signing over tea and biscuits. The crowd chanting tea and biscuits, perhaps the first WWE contract signing over tea. And something that really said to me, just, man, this shows the weakness of putting the cruiserweights in the current environment. I feel like a segment like this and the match they're going to put on Fastlane, that's something that would blow the roof off Full Sail. But in an arena, especially with that setup time, it's such a disadvantage.
I'm sure it'll be pretty quiet for that match, but I think it'll be really good. But yeah, it's just they need to make some tweaks to that cruiserweight division because they have a lot of talent, and it just it's not living up to their potential with what they can do with the way they're handling it.
Yeah, and I wonder if we'll have to ask Matt about this next week. But I wonder from the cruiserweights' point of view, if they're backstage going like, "Hey guys, can we kill it with the purple rope thing?" Like I got to go out there.
I'm sure none of them would say a word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hardly anyone does anyway. Everyone walks on eggshells backstage.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. I thought the segment was fantastic. Really built up the match very well, and I'm looking forward to see them wrestle at Fastlane. And yeah, tea and biscuits chant. It actually happened.
Tea and biscuits.
Monday Night Raw, which shows that the people that stayed cared, and I think that's the important thing that we can get out of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, thought that was very, very well done. After that, Nia Jax versus Sarah Pierce. I'm assuming that was local enhancement talent. Did it do anything for you, Raj?
No, that was it was what it was.
I had the same thing with Sarah Pierce. I was like, what's her story? Can we talk to her a bit more? Like, how come she's not on this show? Like, she seemed really interesting and dynamic. Whereas with Nia, same thing every week.
Yeah.
So it's really, so everything you're seeing, everything you're hearing is saying it's leading up to a 4-way match at WrestleMania, Sasha, Nia, Charlotte, and Bayley.
That's what it's looking like. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing that's really teasing that anything's changed on that front.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
I mean, you've already done Bailey and Charlotte twice,
Yeah.
on pay-per-view. So it doesn't make sense to do that match again. Charlotte versus Sasha, you've done it so many times. So, and you don't want to do Charlotte versus Nia Jax. So, I mean, that makes the most sense.
Well, speaking of Bailey versus Charlotte, we're going to talk about that in a moment. But first, I want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this episode, which is DDP Yoga. You saw it tonight, DDP going into the Hall of Fame. It's official. And DDP Yoga has changed countless lives. You've seen Jake Roberts, Scott Hall, Chris Jericho, Mick Foley, Goldust. These guys have turned their health around. They've turned their life around thanks to DDP Yoga. If you've been thinking about checking it out, we've got a deal for you. If you go to ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc, you can get 25% off the DDP Yoga Now app, or you can get 25% off the DDPY DVDs, plus 3 months of full access to the DDP Yoga Now app. Even a better deal if you want to partner up with an accountability buddy. You can buy a max or combo pack at 25% off and get 50% off the second one. This app's fantastic. There's weekly motivational messages from Diamond Dallas Page himself. Awesome cooking lessons that teach you how to make healthy food taste amazing. And of course, all those great DDPY workouts. Just so much variety. You're never going to get tired of doing the same ones because there's always going to be more to choose from. Head on over to ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc to take advantage of these offers. Man, February is almost done. I keep talking about this. If you heard me talking about it in January, a month has passed. Take control of your life. Take control of your health with DDP Yoga. Go to ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. And we thank them for sponsoring the podcast. And congratulations to Diamond Dallas Page. It's official, part of the 2017 WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah, this is one of those where just for all the good he's done outside the ring, like it just feels like you just really feel happy for him, that the difference he's made in, Jake Roberts and other people's lives. And so even if, and he does deserve, regardless, even without that, but I think that just puts it over the top.
He needs a show. He was the star of the Jake the Snake movie. He was the star of the Scott Hall documentary. And this is better than the WWE Network people. He needs a show at least on TLC or Discovery or one of those Nat Geo networks where it's just Diamond Dallas Page going around and changing lives. I mean, if you see what he did for Jake, it's amazing. And yeah, absolutely. He's done so much good. And all the time, I don't know if you see this, Raj, but I see on Reddit, I see on Twitter, I see guys, wrestling fans that are saying, you know what, other exercise wasn't for me. I felt it was too intimidating at first, too high of a barrier to entry. But you know what? I tried DDP Yoga. It worked for me. I started slow. I built up. I lost a ton of weight and turned my life around. It's really amazing just to hear these success stories.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, the proof's out there. I mean, you see Jericho, who credits, he says he wouldn't even be wrestling right now if it weren't for it.
Yeah, man. And look at Goldust. Look at Goldust in TNA versus Goldust today. And tell me it doesn't make a difference. Speaking of which, Dustin Reynolds is selling his Black Rain suit on eBay. I don't know if you saw that.
How much is that going for right now?
I would assume that's probably the lowest price, probably the least competition of all his outfits. If I follow him on Facebook and I saw he's selling a bunch of stuff on eBay, I thought that was interesting. I think his comment was something like, please somebody help me get rid of this.
That was like the Emma thing, right? With Black Rain, where they had built up his debut and then he finally showed up. Was like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. It was,
I think he used it one time.
Short-lived, certainly a low point in his physical fitness. Probably considers it a low point in his career. Man, I hope, I don't know if you think about this, I hope we get an amazing Goldust documentary sometime in the next couple of years.
He's had an interesting life.
He has.
I remember when I interviewed him and I was only supposed to, I set out an hour to do it and we went way over that. There's just so much stuff, that he's been and that he's done. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But anyhow, we digress. Let's get back to what happened tonight.
Someone's pointing out that it was his WCW gig. It was his gimmick that they nixed the first time he came on TV. It was the 7.
Oh, 7-7. That's right.
Right.
But yeah, Black Rain, not well regarded, probably because of where he was at in his life at the time. I believe that in his chronicle of things was near what he dubbed rock bottom. So anyhow, Raw Women's Champion Bailey, what did you think of this? I was actually getting really angry when Stephanie McMahon came out and they actually made it seem like she was going to jack Bayley's title over rules they never enforced in the WWE.
Yeah, it was kind of dumb, but it gave Bayley that, it helped her out, I thought, in standing up to Steph, and the hell no got a big pop. Hulk Hogan did that same promo. I don't know if you remember when the $1 Million Man was trying to, when he was trying to buy the belt, and Hogan was acting like he was going to do it, and he went, hell no.
Yeah, the payoff was good, but it went on so long that it was just like, oh my God, this is how they're going to do the Daniel Bryan thing and give her a bigger win at Mania by making it not count. So I'm glad they didn't do that. I'm glad that they said, you know what, this was a fire with fire situation, and it's all good.
Yeah, no, I thought it did good for Bayley, because I think, I thought she was getting kind of hurt there by the booking for a little bit, and it's coming back.
So I like that. And then we went from that to Bayley on commentary. There was a face-off with Charlotte and Sasha. I did enjoy Charlotte threatening to cripple Sasha and make it so she never walks again. I thought that was kind of nice. Let's take it to that level. I'm going to permanently injure you and put you in a wheelchair. But we went to that match, or as they put it, rekindling the classic rivalry that, what's that been dead for like a month?
Yeah. Have they wrestled this year yet? I'm sure they have, but
it feels like it's every week, but I'm sure they've taken a little break.
Yeah. So I don't think Charlotte has ever beat Sasha on Raw.
Huh.
Or at least not in not a singles match.
Well, that would make sense, right? I mean, given the way they book Charlotte at Raw versus pay-per-views, I think that would certainly keep that going. That being said, thought the match was good tonight.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, Charlotte and Sasha, they can go. And so, another great match between them. Or good match. I wouldn't say great, but
good. Not one of their very best, but it was good. It was solid. And I think that it was a good showcase for Charlotte. I think to have her get her mojo back, get on point with it, and build her up a little more for Fastlane. Interesting that we had that tonight, and one of the women from the interference last week did not make an appearance. It's like, okay, Dana, you had your TV time for 2017. Go sit in the back.
Yeah. No Emma again tonight.
Yeah. God, we're in a post-Emelina era. What will life be like going forward?
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to start teasing it soon. If next week we just get the return of Emma coming soon,
just have her wrestle, or just have her go to SmackDown.
Seriously, although SmackDown right now, we have 3 women's storylines going on. I mean,
right?
They could have a 4th with her and Carmella, Emma and Carmella. That would be pretty good. But no, I thought Charlotte was great tonight. I thought it was good. So I thought Charlotte tonight, it played well towards her mic skills. I know, I got some flack for criticizing her promo skills, but I think that the problem is they've tossed her out there a lot to do these solo promos in front of sometimes not the best crowds, and you could tell she's a little thrown by it. I thought when she gets to come in and play off someone else, I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like she's 10 times better when she has someone to play off of and give her a little bit more heat.
Yeah, I think she's just a lot more comfortable now. I think part of it too is I wonder if Rick being there, also made her more nervous, because she seems like she's gotten better since Rick left. It could just be, growing as a performer. Yeah. But I think her promos are really good. I think she's the best female in the company on promos.
Really?
Yeah.
That is interesting. I would really have to give some thought as to who's the best, because I feel that in recent weeks, it fluctuates. I mean, I know people are going to be like, oh, I'm a Becky Mark or whatever, but I would say Alexa Bliss. I think Alexa some weeks.
Yeah, Alexa's really good. She's got the poise and everything, but I don't think she cuts like a main event promo like Charlotte does, like a big match promo. She's good at that, cocky, arrogant character, but not in like the like a main event heel.
That being said,
she's getting there. I think Alexa's awesome.
I thought Bayley tonight was really good with all that. I thought she handled that well. The Hell No at the end was great. I think for her, this is some of the best work she's done on the mic since she's been on the main roster. So we went from that to the build-up with Sami Zayn for his match. And, of course, Sami Zayn comes out to face Kevin Owens. And wouldn't you know it, Samoa Joe runs in, attacks Sami Zayn. Sammy insists that the match must go on.
And Sammy had a good promo before that.
Oh, yeah. No, it was great. I mean, a lot of us on Twitter that were talking about it, we're actually really looking forward to this match happening. I think everyone assumed Samoa Joe was going to interfere at some point.
Right.
It was just kind of a bummer that it took the wind out of our sails, right? There was some momentum. I think it could have very easily happened at the end of the match and been just as effective.
This made it different. I mean, we've seen that Sammy and Kevin wrestle so many times.
Not for a while, though.
Yeah, nah, it wasn't that long ago. They just wrestled like a month ago on Raw, or like a month and a half ago. But I was fine with this. I thought it was, made Joe look like a monster. I wonder if they are going to do that stable with Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe.
Seems like that's what they're heading towards.
Kevin Owens even had a line where he said something like, at the beginning, he said something like, "No one plays the game better than I do," or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was a little nod.
So Sammy insisted the match must go on, and then Kevin just demolished him further. The ref stopped.
He was just destroyed.
Yeah.
But it should have been. I think Owens needed something hot this week after the big turn last week, where turning on Jericho. So I thought this worked well for both. Made Joe look tough, and Owens, it kept giving him that momentum.
Yeah. So you think Sammy versus Samoa Joe for Fastlane?
Yeah, didn't they announced it, didn't they?
Did they?
Or maybe not. Let's take a look at the card here.
Fastlane. Well, saying that, I want to let our audience know, because I found out today that WWE Payback, the first Raw pay-per-view after WrestleMania, is going to be April 30th in San Jose, California. Tickets go on sale this Friday. And I'm debating whether I want to go to that, because it's a Raw pay-per-view. And man, the pay-per-view ticket prices, something else. Not a house show. I'll just say that much. So let's see the card.
Yeah, the pre-sale starts tomorrow for that.
Cool. So Kevin Owens versus Goldberg, Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman, Neville versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Enzo and Cass, and Bayley versus Charlotte Flair. So they have not announced it yet.
They have not announced it, but it's clear that's where they're going.
Yeah. And I think that'll be a great match. But as you pointed out, don't get my hopes up too much, because Samoa Joe is going to destroy Sammy. Yeah. I'm playing the long game with my Sami Zayn fandom. Just like, it's going to happen.
Okay.
He's going to get, right now. Okay. So exclude tag teams, exclude everything else. What single male faces do they even have right now that are traditional faces in the company?
Well, I mean, are you talking about just Raw, or?
I'm just Raw.
Seth Rollins, but he's kind of out of commission right now.
Yes,
but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Goldberg.
Yeah. Part-timer though. Bless you. So yeah, I think that's the thing with Sammy is, I think they can do. They're the only one he could do that. They can do that story with right now. And really
I mean, it's clear they don't see him at the. That. I mean, there's the same thing with Daniel Bryan. They didn't see him there, so he was booked to not be come across as a top star, but he got there anyway. So
yeah, always puts on a great match, and I think that. We need people to root for week in and week out. That's how I'm starting to look at it, where it's just like, there are people you love to hate, but yeah, there's not a lot of traditional faces. I mean, on the roster by and large right now, it's kind of maybe indicative of the era that we're in.
They just, they haven't been able to push many young guys to that top level. I mean, they got a lot of baby faces. It's just not top level.
Yeah, absolutely. So after that, we got the graphic in memory of Ivan Koloff. Then we went backstage to McMahon, Stephanie McMahon with Mick Foley. So, Raj, this is what you wanted. Mick kind of got his balls back this week.
Yeah, he grew a set. Finally. So I think we're starting to see the beginning of the end of Mick Foley on Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have that hip surgery. So at least, if they let him go out, standing up to Stephanie, that'd be great, as opposed to her dressing him down and firing him. So we'll see.
It's funny to me, considering that interference happens multiple times each episode of Raw. And tonight it was like, Mick, where were you? How did you let this happen?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, the very loosely enforced policies at the WWE.
Yeah. So who should be commissioner if Mick gets the axe?
You think it's going to be Angle?
I could see it. I don't want to see Angle getting dressed down by Stephanie every week, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they'll do it with a current wrestler and put them in that position, or maybe they'll have rotating through a couple people,
or they just leave the spot open until Foley comes back and they don't.
Yeah.
Really, don't get rid of him.
Although post WrestleMania, it'll be about a year. Well, no, I guess right before the brand split, but we haven't seen Vince on TV in quite some time.
Yeah, but that's his choice. He doesn't want to be on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks pretty freaking old now. You watch that XFL documentary and you see like the current day, and then they're showing the clips of him like going off, on the media, and he just looks like he's aged 40 years since then.
Yeah. Well, I could certainly see why he would want to step out of the limelight and not have that pressure, but he's there. I think that's the thing, and the fans know it. I mean, he's there every week backstage, calling the shots, working things. But yeah, I think an appearance from him would certainly be appropriate. But I don't know who they bring in to make it really compelling. I think Angle would be good, but I think it'll be a different dynamic. I still would love to see him rotated. I would love to see Shane somehow trade Daniel Bryan to Monday Night Raw. I think that would be really entertaining.
No. I don't want to see Daniel and Stephanie because she'll be dropping all those B+ player lines and they're that old bag of tricks. So I think it's best the way for him where he's at.
Yeah. Plus we get him on Talking Smack, which is just an absolute joy each week.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So after that, the Brock Lesnar, well, it was really a Paul Heyman interview where Brock Lesnar sat there.
That was kind of weird. He's just staring into the camera. So I'm curious if they did a dark match segment with him tonight.
Yeah.
Because they were supposed to be filming, more of that Page movie. So
yeah.
And so if that's the case, they flew him in just for that.
Yeah. Which is amazing. They could have just used archive footage of Brock.
Or they could have taped it last week when he was there, and yeah, just recorded it last week and played it this week as opposed to having to use up one of his dates. But I mean, he's booked for every TV until every Raw until WrestleMania, so they just don't have anything for him. So, yeah.
So it was okay. I don't know. I mean, look, this doesn't speak anything to Brock inside the ring, and I really like Paul Heyman a lot, but they got to change these up. Heyman's got to just spice it up a little bit. Say something different.
I agree.
I feel like I could have a Paul Heyman soundboard. I feel like I could just do something on my keyboard and I would need 5 keys. And I could just hit those keys and generate every promo Paul Heyman has given for the last 6 months.
Yeah, I think that's just the problem. He delivers it great. It's just saying the same thing over and over. So, yeah. I mean, it'd be good to have Lesnar just drop a few lines here and there.
Lesnar was pretty good when he was talking in the build-up to Survivor Series and the times when he did the promos last year. I thought Lesnar had improved a lot in terms of his delivery.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you ever watched like after his UFC fights, he was great. I mean, he was just going off. So he can talk. He just doesn't like it. But like the thing he did with Heath Slater, that one fantastic time. Yeah, it was great. So that's all he has to do. He doesn't have to do a long soliloquy.
Yeah, absolutely. So we came after that to the main event, which was Big Show versus Braun Strowman in a match that they kept making a big deal that they reinforced the ring. They went pretty long. What was that, about 15-minute match? Yeah,
that went way longer than I expected it to.
Why don't they just have Raw? I mean, I know they don't want the pressure to do it every week, but I mean, we do the podcast immediately after Raw ends, but it seems like they have a very loose idea. It always goes over. It's just a question of how much it's going to go over. Yeah. I mean, they certainly don't need the pressure of filling extra time.
No.
But why not just trim up the show earlier and get a clean 8 o'clock out?
I don't know. I think they should. It's long enough as it is. So, I mean, if you go over a minute or two, that's fine. But yeah, There's no need to go 15 minutes long when you got a 3-hour show.
Yeah. Thank God people don't have to program VCRs anymore. Although with DVR, I'm sure it happens all the time where it's like, oh, it cut off the last bit of Raw.
Yeah, I mean, I have mine set to just go 30 minutes long every week.
And you end up getting an episode of Chris Lee Knows Best, which I finally saw a few minutes of tonight before I could confirm it is an actual show, and it's terrible. But yeah, USA has got to be just getting those extra ratings from Raw going long and people DVRing stuff unknowingly.
Yeah.
Unintentionally. So I thought it was really good tonight. Strowman kicked out after Big Show did the punch. Like the Big Show's whole arsenal.
Yeah.
Ineffective.
He did a nip up, Braun Strowman. Do you see that?
No. What's that now?
Where he kicks up.
To
his feet. Which, Shawn Michaels would do that all the time. Mm-hmm. But Braun Strowman doing it, that was crazy.
Took the singlet down. I think he's only done that like once before. He's like Jason Jordan now or something.
Yeah. I thought Braun looked great here.
Yeah. I thought they worked really well together. Big Show looked well. No please retire chance. I think everyone's turned a corner on Big Show. All it took was keeping him off TV for 6 months, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, we do kind of like him."
Yeah, and it felt like a big match. Like this felt like like something special, which that hasn't been the case for a Big Show match in a long time.
Yeah. So no, I thought this was really good. In fact, this isn't even a hating on Roman thing, but I was like, did we need Roman to come out at the end? It just seems so.
Yeah, they're building to that match. So.
I know, but I mean, is there? So, what's your thought on this? That Roman's going to win that match?
Card. What's that?
Who's going to win that match at Fastlane?
I think it's going to be Roman. He's been losing. He hasn't won a match in a while, so I think it's him getting beaten down every week. I think it's leading to him getting the win.
Yeah. I think it's refreshing.
And if he's facing Taker, he needs he needs a head of steam.
That would be interesting. I mean, I think that they could book him in a way where it seems like they're not using him that much, where they're, positioning him down and then build him back up again. It might get people reinvested. But even tonight, the let's go Roman sucks chance. Like, you just can't ever get the crowd fully with him. And I feel that's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Especially if he retires Taker. I think that's going to be very controversial.
That's why they got to turn him heel.
Yeah.
That'd be the way to do it.
Well, with the DQs, I mean, they're inching towards that, right? It seems like it. They're not having him be as much of a, because the face thing didn't really fit him. I mean, I think that's everyone's complaint since day one.
Wait, the face thing doesn't fit Roman?
Do you think it does? I feel like
I think it did. Like, he was getting over for a while. They just pushed him too hard. And then it just, they never were consistent with him. So he went from like a badass one week to these, ridiculous promos the next. But yeah, I think, when the Shield was breaking up, he was kind of the one the fans were really getting behind.
I feel like the problem is that the way he does his promos, this is what Matt pointed out a couple months ago, where they try and have him be a little smart alecky, a little sort of Han Solo, Fonzie, and it just doesn't play quite as well. Whereas someone like Cena can do that while still come across as, an all-American boy in the traditional WWE face mold. But I don't know. I don't mind Roman sort of cocky and arrogant. I just think that they have to let him go full on. So I think if they let him go full on heel, I think that could actually be amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they got so much invested in him. Why not do, what the fans will react to?
Yeah. And again, it's funny. This circulates like clockwork every 6 weeks, but those early NXT promos he did when he came out in a suit, all cocky, that was really good. I want more of that. That's a guy that I would enjoy watching every week on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all in all tonight, your thoughts on Raw? Strong episode.
It was good. It wasn't great, but it was good.
I think it was good. And if it seemed a little of a lesser, it's just because last week was incredible.
Yeah. I thought last week was great. This week was, give it a B.
Yeah. It was better than most Raws, just not as good as last week. And when they were showing those clips, I don't know if you had this feeling, when they showed the Chris and Kevin clips, and then they showed even the Bayley and Charlotte clips, man, that made last week's Raw put every recent pay-per-view to shame. the way that they were able to build up everything that happened during that segment, during that match. It just made it feel so important and so compelling. Then I can't remember the last time we had that feeling about a pay-per-view going forward.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if they have Jericho appear at Fastlane, because I think, you know, with Lesnar and Goldberg, you want Goldberg to look strong, and him needing Jericho's interference to win, I don't think accomplishes that. I mean, you could just have Jericho attack Owens before the match and, you know, get separated or do something like that, or just wait till the next night on Raw.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to Fastlane, man. I mean, really, I'll be straight up about this. I'm looking forward to whatever they do with Chris Jericho next and the continuation of that storyline. I think, to me right now, that is the most interesting storyline that they have running.
Were fans chanting "This is awesome" like early in that Braun Strowman match?
2 seconds into the match between Strowman.
What the hell is wrong with the people nowadays?
I don't know. I was wondering. It's funny. I was like, yes, they were.
I couldn't tell if they were maybe chanting "This is awful," and it just sounded like it. Even though it wasn't yet, it had just started. But to be chanting "This is awesome" right when that match started, when you got
that
Big Show,
strange.
And unless they were being smartasses, but man,
yeah,
that chant's got to go.
Love the chanting at Kevin when he was trying to do that monologue, though, just about booing him, breaking up the friendship, like all of that. I mean, just that was great to see.
Yeah, he's getting some real heel heat now,
which is crazy. I mean, he was, you know, the guy that like the favorite heel, funny, everything you want in a sort of old school heel model, but self-aware. And now he's serious again. So I wonder how that'll fare with him and Goldberg at Fastlane.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So what else do we have to cover? We talked about just about everything.
Yeah. Fastlane. Yeah, I'm guessing we'll get Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn added. Next week they're having Seth Rollins on, so I'm sure he'll reveal that he's going to be at WrestleMania. Even though if they were going to do that, I would think you'd wait till the week after. So Fastlane's out of the way, but
Marvelous Mike points out that was just Vince with the chanting. He was so happy he sounded like 10,000 people.
Right. Someone's thinking Taker will cost Roman Reigns the match. It feels like they haven't done enough yet between Reigns and Undertaker to justify Taker costing him the match. But we'll see. I mean, that does seem like an obvious way to go. Or you could have Taker interfere and cause Strowman to win. But we'll see.
Yeah, it would just seem like him sort of popping up out of nowhere. But that's Taker's thing, though. Taker can do that.
Right, but when they've done it in the past, like he did it with Lesnar, and he had a real issue with Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Should we get some of these questions?
Yeah, what else do we got?
Guys, use hashtag Wrestling Podcast. We got one in the comment section here.
Derek Gibson is saying, "This is not awesome" should be a chant. I have long advocated that the chant for when it is bad should be "This is awkward."
Yeah.
Same amount of syllables, rolls off the tongue.
This is barely adequate.
Yeah.
Chant. Someone's asking if Owens versus Goldberg will be a somewhat competitive match or just another squash. And would a squash hurt Owens going to this feud with Jericho? Might Jericho cost Owens the belt? And if so, would that hurt Goldberg at all? I don't think it'll be a long match at all. I think it'll be under 10 minutes. And I think a couple minutes of that will be stalling and stuff at the beginning. So,
and that's where you're right. The Jericho attacking Owens ahead of time would certainly give us that build, or give us that reason for why.
Yeah. So that way, because I just can't see them doing a long match with Goldberg. I don't even know if it makes good booking sense, just because they want to go with Lesnar and Goldberg, and that's and Goldberg beat Lesnar quick, so it doesn't make sense to have him beat Lesnar quick and then have a hard time with Owens.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a short match, and Goldberg wins pretty decisively. Let's see. Is The Rock fired now? No, they were just joking around. When will Shaq appear on Raw to set up his match against the Big Show? I wonder if he's even going to. Doesn't he do NBA stuff on Monday nights?
You know, I don't follow basketball.
Someone in the comment section, let me know, because I thought he does some NBA show on Monday. So
I thought all he made all his money from Icy Hot these days. I thought that was kind of his gig.
Yeah. So they might just announce it on TV, and he does some the taped videos and stuff. So I mean that could be it.
Old school angle. I mean, not old school like 80. I mean, well, actually, kind of, right? I mean, because of the Mr. T the first WrestleMania, but that angle, like I feel like we're kind of past that now.
Well, I don't think Lawrence Taylor ever showed up on Raw, when he was doing his WrestleMania main event. So, so they've done it.
No, I know. I mean, the Stephen Amell thing I thought was kind of cool, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about stunt booking of matches.
Yeah, I mean, it's Orlando. They'll get a lot of publicity for it, but whether or not it makes a difference in anything, it really won't. No one's going to buy this pay-per-view for that.
Yeah. Gruss512 is asking, do we think Corey Graves would make a good GM?
I think he's better where he's at as a commentator. I mean, I think he's great right now as a commentator.
I know your hopes and dreams for this. ETV29 is asking, do you see New Day breaking up at WrestleMania?
I don't. No.
Yeah. I don't think you give them a spot like that only to break them up immediately after.
Right. And, when I'm talking about Big E getting a singles push, you could still have New Day be together. Just have Big E doing, more singles matches.
Maybe you can go back to that 5 count thing from NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy Hunt's asking, who does Samoa Joe face at WrestleMania?
Yeah, that's, we've talked about this before where they're running out of spots. So there's not many more matches that they can really throw on there. I mean, we had said Sammy, but they're doing that, at Fastlane. So I don't know.
Man, it's exciting. 41
You could
days
do Sammy again. Maybe Sammy, or someone's saying Luke Harper. Winning the Battle Royal on SmackDown. I think it's going to be AJ. And then get screwed out of the title shot. And then that sets up AJ and Shane McMahon.
Yeah. Man, 41 days to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So we're going to be back here on Wednesday, Raj and myself, at 12 noon Eastern to talk about SmackDown Live in this Battle Royal that is happening tomorrow night on the show.
And Matt will be back next Monday. His day job, he kind of has been pulling him in and out. So he's been a little, not as consistent, but he'll be back next week. Yeah, he did tease wrestling again on his Instagram. I'm sure a lot of people saw that. And I think there might be more to that, but stay tuned.
Yeah. And believe you me, when he gets back on here, we'll hit him with the hard questions. I'm sure you all will as well. So make sure to subscribe if you like the show. Leave us a rating and a review. Follow me and Raj on the Twitter. Find links in the show notes. Monday Night Raw, I've been live tweeting along with that. So if you like more tangents, weird observations, and random humor from me, yes, follow me on Twitter, especially during Monday Night Raw. It said in LA tonight, they missed an opportunity. They could have got Ralph Macchio there with Bailey. That would have been something in the ring. Perfect chance to incorporate that. Stephanie McMahon just hates underdogs.
Does he still live in LA? I don't know if he can afford it now. When you're not acting, and LA can be an expensive city.
Got that My Cousin Vinny money,
Yeah.
Sure, he got paid a lot for the sequels. I don't think he was dying to come back and do Karate Kid 3. I think that was one he probably cashed in on,
I don't know how much you can make that, how long that Karate Kid 3 money lasts you, but
that's for what you know what it is with
Crossroads, his Crossroads royalties.
That's a deep reference. You know what it is a lot, just because I looked this up, and it's funny that some wrestlers do this. They start their own businesses, but a lot of actors in Southern California, they make all their money off real estate. They end up buying something in the Hollywood Hills, then they sell that for an absurd amount of money, and then move to Encino, where it's a third of the cost to live there.
Yeah, it's smart. It makes sense. Someone's asking if WrestleMania will be the Undertaker's last match. I really do think it will be.
Yeah.
He didn't look good in the Royal Rumble. And he's got surgeries that he needs to get taken care of. So I think it will be.
I think this is his last chance to go out on a really high note. I think it's going to start to look sad if he just go in a few more years, and that's just going to bum everybody out.
Yeah. Someone saying Nakamura debuts the week after WrestleMania on either Raw or SmackDown. I think so. I think it'll probably be on Raw the next night.
We shall see. Cool, everybody. So we'll be back here Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern. Talk about SmackDown. Until next time, everyone, I'm Glenn Rubenstein, and we'll see you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.